Hi everyone. So friends, let's go much more deeper into the behavioral finance aspect. Yes, let's go and understand the financial behavior into some subtler way. Let's deep dive into that, and let's understand so that we can relate it with all of us, and so that we can start a journey of becoming a rational investor. All right guys, so friends, as far as decisions are concerned, decisions could be partial decisions which we can take and impartial decisions. We have already talked about this thing, that partial decisions can be some behavioral biases. Okay, so decision could be in any of the aspect, in any of the domain of your life, but we are specifically talking about the financial behavior right now. So we'll cover up the financial behavior aspect. Okay, what does the notes have to say? Only by becoming aware of and actively avoiding behavioral biases. See, it is saying that you have to avoid the behavioral biases, and when it comes to avoiding of a behavioral biases, you need to remain aware of your biases first of all right. For an example, there is one problem. All right. So you want to solve that problem. All right, until or unless any person don't know about the problem, there is no problem identification, how he can solve the problem. The same thing applies here, that even if you want to avoid the behavioral financial biases, you need to remain aware about your own behavioral finance aspects. That's the catch point, my dear friends. Yes. All right, let me move further. Okay, so traditional versus behavioral finance, we have to cover this aspect, behavioral finances. All right, and see what this image says to all of us. It says it is just looking at all of us and just asking and trying to say that whether all you investors are rational, question mark. Let's move further and let's understand this thing too. Yes, behavioral finance. See, behavioral, there are many behavioral finance aspects. There are so many common behavioral finance. All right, we're going to discuss many common behavioral finance aspect one by one gradually. Yes. Yeah, now let's move bit deeper. Let's dive a bit, dive deep into the behavioral finance aspect. Behavioral finance focuses on cognitive and emotional aspects. All right, cognitive, if I have to say, would mean that impatient. Yes, we can call it impatient. When a person become impatient while making his call and decisions, it is a cognitive aspect of life. Like we can cover up impulse, like we have studied in our previous class too, that we have categorized the people on the basis of three factors through which they can by which they act on their own financial bias. So one was impulsive people. All right, impulse, we can categorize or we can link this category of people, impulse people, with cognitive aspect. All right, they like for an example, one who is very much stuck to his shopping habits, one who loves a lot of shopping, though he don't understand the difference between the quality and quantity and rest of the things, but he just loves shopping. He just wants to go to the mall and buy something out of there, or so that is the impulse behavior the any person can do. So this is a cognitive aspect. Emotional aspect, what is emotional aspect? We can we have categorized one more type of people over here, like distressed people. All right, what does it mean? Any person who thinks a lot before spending, and he overthinks a lot. He is quite emotional relating to the money. His relationship with money is quite emotional, and he gets a lot of stress when he spends a single penny out of his pocket. That's the thing. So behavioral finance focuses on cognitive and emotional aspects of investing, drawing on psychology, socially, biology. What does it mean, friend? This is nothing more than a systematic pattern. Once again, I'm repeating, I repeated this thing in the previous class as well. This is nothing but it is a systematic patterns one can have. All right, systematic patterns. This systematic patterns can come from his own psychology, that is from his own habits. Okay, sociology, that is from from his surroundings. He can get those things from his own surroundings, being social. All right, biology, he can get it from his DNA. All right, like his mother father acts, he gets the same thing in his own in his own life as well. So this kind of financial behavior can be because of the reason psychological habits or social habits or some biological things they have. We all need to understand all this factor because we want to investigate true financial behavior. Why we are investigating true financial behavior? Just before this slide, we have discussed about this thing. If there is a problem and we want to solve that problem, we need to identify the problem first of all. And therefore, as far as the finances are concerned, if we want to become a rational investor, if we want to start our journey with a volatile market, we really need to put focus upon this thing, ki how do we act and what financial habits do we have, and we need to work upon them for becoming a rational investor and becoming a wealthy person for future. Yes. So once again, behavioral biases and their impact on investment decisions encompasses cognitive and emotional biases. All right. Yeah, cognitive bias could come from information processing, memory errors. All right. So one of the example which I can give for cognitive bias is suppose there is Mr. X. There's Mr. X. He wants to buy a share and he was thinking about this share in his subconscious mind. This share was in his subconscious mind since long, and all of a sudden one fine morning he saw a news where he saw something good about the share. Okay, someone is speaking something good about the share, and he all of a sudden he just jumped into the stock market and he just grabbed that share immediately. So how is acting? He's acting only on the first source of information. But being a rational investor, we have to keep on authenticating the information too, whether those information are reliable or not, who have given such information, and what are the what could be the consequences of those information. We need to remain aware of those things as well. All right, so this sort of example can be covered under this cognitive biases, because here person becomes impatient. Okay, next is emotional biases, impulse or intuitions. Sometimes people I have come across so many people in my life that who says that they want to buy the shares just because they have a gut feeling. I know what kind of word is this gut feeling they have. They have a strong feeling to buy that share, and they will become a very rich and wealthy person once they buy that share. So this kind of gut feeling or strong feeling maybe work for more few of the people, but being a knowledgeable investor, we should avoid this kind of aspects. Okay, impulse, yeah, we can instead of facts. Yes, you takes the action instead of facts. You take the action on the basis of feelings. So we are supposed to have a proper knowledge. Yes. All right. Yes. So friends, in our next topic, in our next video, we're going to discuss about some of the common financial bias that a human being faces, that a common investor faces: overconfidence, self-attribution bias, loss aversion, fear of loss, disposition effect, mental accounting, anchoring, and attention bias. So stay tuned with me and let's catch up in the next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye, friends. Thank you so much.